Welcome to the Cable Club. We're a retro video gaming podcast where three guys link up to talk about news and games and stuff. And this is episode number 44. We're your hosts. I'm Steve.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Don.
Get ready to upload data from us to you. But first, do we have any announcements, Don?
We do have some announcements. So if you've been following along, we're over halfway through now our retro game league, which is the main driver, I'd say, going on right now. And we have just announced our Master Ball League, which is the tippity top cream of the crop prize. And if you happen to win the audience vote for the Master Ball League entry, you will get this really sweet wrestling title belt with all kinds of little awesome Cable Club paraphernalia and Master Ball goodness on it.
It looks so good. I am jealous to whoever wins that.
It's a fantastic prize, as well as the golden cartridges that go with it. The other thing I want to announce, which is really exciting, is that in a few weeks, we're going to be launching merchandise for the Cable Club. You're going to be able to gear up with awesome t-shirts and maybe some other stuff. Steve and Dan are each designing something, too, as well as me. So
I got something in the works.
Yeah. We're going to see some of that coming up. And we'll have further announcements of when that's launching. So buckle up.
Buttercup.
And that's what I have. Dan, kick it off to question of the week.
All right. Question of the week. What video game franchise has the best fashion sense? Is that from, what was that, PlayStation? PlayStation 2?
Yeah, the era. It also had an anime tie-in.
What heck, huh?
Dot hack. The armor is sweet. They do a really good job with the character designs, like all of them. It's really interesting.
Oh, I took a different approach on this question. For me, I kind of took what kind of gear you could dress your characters in, I guess.
I guess I took it as a base design concept, but I can see what you're saying. I think it's valid.
Yeah, I mean, judging by what people answered to in our Discord, they kind of took the same approach. But I don't have one definitive, but I guess if I had to pick one, it would be the MMO Final Fantasy 11, because in that game, just like MMOs in general, they're a bit more like WoW, where it's you get gear and it gets replaced, and it always gets a point to where you're always replacing your gear. But in Final Fantasy 11, it was an old school MMO. So anytime you got a high end piece of gear, it would stick with you forever, in the game. So basically, if you got this high end piece of gear, it would just, everybody knew what it was and stuff like that. So anytime you ran around and you had that piece of gear, it made you feel that extra special. And I always loved that.
Oh, so you're talking about functional fashion that it's you rolling up with your gold teeth, essentially.
I guess, but it was always a good feeling, just knowing that you had this badass piece of gear, and then you just always wanted to show it off in town.
Yeah,
you were
when
just
you're in
pimping,
town, and you're just sitting there, and you just see somebody run by with Aegis or with Excalibur or Gungnir or any of those relic weapons. You're oh my god, it's a bravura. And you just
or even just even some of the AF gear that made you look like you were the job, Dark Knight with its Dark Knight looking armor that kind of looked like a Death Knight from WoW, and Paladin looked like a knight in shining armor and stuff like that. So I don't know, I really love the fantasy of just running around in that type of gear in that game.
For me, I picked Final Fantasy 14 online only because glamour is the end game in that. It is all about getting the pieces that, and people do all kinds of fashion stuff like hats and shirts, and it's not just magical armors and all that stuff, but people do all kinds of role play with the fashion. They have so many outfits and pieces available that it's not my thing, but I did at one point. I was playing Paladin Sword and Shield, and I got the tuxedo glamour. So I was up fighting Bahamut, this giant dragon, and he's blowing fire at me, and I'm wearing tuxedo.
You gotta tell them. Remember the Green Ranger?
Oh yeah, dude. So there's this piece you could get that has a gold breastplate, and it comes out with shoulder pads, pauldrons or whatever, and it looks almost like the Green Ranger like gold plate. But if you dye it green, the the outside parts become that green color, and then they had pants that had like white. Um, they look like teeth almost on the bottom cuffs where your feet go, so you would do that in green, and then green armor and a helmet, and you would dye it all green. You look like the Green Ranger. I was the Green Ranger for a while. It was really sweet.
So somewhat similarly, we played a ton of Diablo 3 seasons back in the day, and we eventually got bored enough where we were not only making like superhero themed builds, but we were making like superhero themed costumes to try to make them look as much like those superheroes as possible. So like you'd
That's
play like
fun.
Crusader, and he has like a shield throw, and you would get
Captain
every piece of
America.
gear that buffed the shield throw, and then yeah, you dress yourself up like Captain America. Then we had like an Iron Man, I think it was like a sorcerer build or something because you had lasers, and you could like dress him up like that. I don't know, it was fun for the time. But yeah, no, there's definitely an appeal to customization, outside of it. Although I'm not shocked Steve picked a Final Fantasy game, but Final Fantasy does have pretty good fashion though. It is
Yeah,
it is kind of tough to beat as a franchise.
for
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, just the way 14 is, there's so many pieces of like fashion gear that aren't even like equipment gear for anything, and you just glamour over your stuff. Like I couldn't think of anything that was more expansive than that.
Soul
Right.
Calibur's got some pretty cool character and outfit designs too.
Yeah, Don definitely took a different approach with this
Yeah.
question, which, you know, yeah, he's right. Like, I'm just thinking about like the Soul Calibur characters. Like you got like Cervantes and stuff. Like that's wasn't he like the pirate?
A pirate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a pirate. You got
yeah,
Ivy, who's not wearing anything.
yeah.
Uh,
And then you got what was his name? Siegfried. He looked badass with his armor.
you have Taki, who's wearing a single sock over her entire body.
You can't forget Valdo.
Yeah,
His
that's
cock piece.
freaky stuff right there. Very, very iconically dressed characters. You know,
Right. All right. So we had a couple of guest answers, or a Discord, I should say, rather. JMO comes first with the answer might be a little bit of a cheat, but I'm going to go with Animal Crossing. My villager was the only version of me that has any fashion sense. Unless, of course, I'm dressed as a hot dog because I lost a bet. And then he has in parentheses, check out our Feb 12th episode for all the embarrassing details.
I'm gonna go check out the visual of that episode now.
Uh, all right. Lycianthia, Fashion Souls, or Dark Souls, or Fashion Hunter, which is Monster Hunter. Stats don't matter. It's all about the swag for me in those games.
Oh, listen though, you have to grind so long in Monster Hunter before you can get to wearing what you want. Like otherwise, you just look like a mangled mess, and you are literally a mangled mess. You are a mass of mangled body parts from the things you've killed and made armor from,
Yeah,
and
I
like
believe
none
it.
of the colors match, and it just takes so long to get there, in my opinion.
Right.
So while I think the aesthetic is cool, like caveman chic, it just takes so long.
Yeah, and then I can also attest for Dark Souls because like the gear in that game like almost doesn't even matter because like if you ever look on YouTube of like people like killing like high end bosses with no gear on, they're just naked. Like you see
Yeah, I
that
was
all the
gonna
time.
say half the people that play that game seem to just play it naked.
Yeah, so it's like you can obviously tell like the gear like really doesn't mean much. So it's like you can literally dress for fashion.
It's all about how well you can dodge
Yeah.
patterns and
I just figured they were playing hard mode.
I mean, it does in a sense. Like it can help you like stagger less if you're wearing heavy armor, or like I think some of it can like make you cast a little bit more magic, but it's nothing like major.
Bloodborne does have a cool like armor aesthetic too.
I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
Bloodborne overall, I like Bloodborne's visual style more than I like the Dark Souls style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, Tom. As long as Tingle exists, Zelda will forever reign supreme. Supreme. That's got to be a troll answer, but I love
He's wearing the Taki outfit.
it.
What is
Oh,
it?
Tingle.
What is it that he says? He goes like, oh, I was trying to remember. He was like, oop, oopa, or some stupid thing. Oh, yeah. Tingle, tingle, Kulu Limpa.
Tingle.
The character weirds me out.
He is a little weird.
I like Beetle, the shopkeeper. You come in,
Yeah.
he goes, oh.
Yeah, he's in a few games now, huh? I think he
Yeah.
first was in Wind Waker. Now he's in Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
Zelda's a special thing.
All right. Danko Misty. Oh, I'm a Monster Hunter fashion hunter. If it don't look good on me, I am not farming you, no matter the stats. One armor set in Wilds almost makes you look like a Gundam.
That's
I,
cool.
I like that mentality of like, if you don't look good, you don't mean anything to me.
Except the gear really matters in Monster Hunter. You don't even have level ups. Like, if you don't have gear, you're as
Well,
naked as the day you were born in that game.
well, Danko Misty don't care apparently.
No, she don't care. And you know what? I don't blame her. It's better than looking like I'm a mangled mess. I have made that choice playing through that game. When a piece of gear is legitimately better, but it looks so bad that I won't
Yeah.
wear it.
So this might just be a me thing. I don't know if it's like if this kind of bothers you guys too, but in any like 3D game where you get to like mix and match gear, clipping, I cannot stand when gear clips into each other, and
Yeah.
I'll go out of my way to like gear my character so it like there's a least
So it
amount of
doesn't clip.
clipping possible. It aggravates the crap out of me, and like games do it all the time. Like like so I'm playing Diablo 4 and they have the barbarian, which like he's got like dual wield weapons on his hips, and then he's got like a bludgeon warhammer on his back, and also like a great sword on his back, and the weapons all clip into each other. It's like they didn't care, and there's like no amount of like customization you can do to fix it.
I mean, when you play Monster Hunter, at least the titles that I'm familiar with, I have not played Worlds yet, but like, there's some armor that's like huge. Like, it makes you almost as wide as you are tall, but your character can still do all the same stuff. Like, they can still run, they can still jump, they can still dive and roll, right? And like, you kind of know in real life that you wouldn't be able to do that, but so that I don't know how they get around the clipping
Well,
viably. Like, if you're going to wear that stuff,
I'm
because you
not.
can't not roll.
I'm
You
not
have
talking
to.
about clipping into like environments. I'm talking about when gear clips into each other.
Like the
Like
sword goes into the armor and then out. And
right.
Uh,
I don't like that. Like when I'm trying to like make my character look good, and like Steve was saying, like my sword is going through like my shield on my back. Like that just ruins the immersion for me.
yeah, fair enough. I could see that. They didn't even. They didn't bother to
But like
make
games
all
do it
those
all the
interactions.
time, dude. Like they
Yep.
just don't care. It's just like they see it,
it's
but they
because
don't care.
the sword and the shield don't have like collision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Or like games with capes. Don't even get me started on capes. Like the capes just do not work in
No
games.
capes.
No
They do not.
capes.
They do not work because they clip through goddamn everything.
All right, Edna. Do you have another answer for us?
All right, all right. Hux, Spider-Man for the PlayStation. There's like 40 different costumes to choose from. How the hell does How many different times can you dress your Spider-Man up?
I
Well,
mean, all through comic history, I would assume he has more than 40
40 is a
Yeah.
yeah,
lot, dude.
yeah.
Holy
Well, Spider
moly.
Man's like, oh God, he's like 80 years old now.
I mean, geez, just off the top of my head, right? Like, there's a cosmic Spider-Man. There's the Venom suit. There's the traditional Spider-Man suit. There's the sweat suit that is the color of Spider-Man, right? There's the Miles Morales suit. There's the Ghost Spider suit. There's like, you know,
Scarlet Spider. There's
yeah,
Fair
Spider Man
enough.
2099. There's
yeah. The MCU suit is distinctly different from the regular Spider-Man suit. Then he has like
I,
the Iron Spider
I
suit.
guess I can kind of
Just
see what
so
you
many
guys
of
are
them.
saying, because like I'm playing Marvel Rivals on the side a bit, and they add like skins and stuff. And I want to say, like, no, I'm not even joking. Like every week there's like a new Spider-Man skin. He's got the most by far. And I'm just like, dude, you got like 30, 40 characters in this game, not just Spider-Man.
He's Marvel's favorite, but he's also the one they like to hurt the most.
All right. So, and our last answer here that we got is Relica, Warframe, i.e., Fashion Frame. So many skins, armor, and other ways to customize your frames and Tenno. It literally has a whole community dedicated just to that. Monster Hunter Fashion was cool, but much more limited than Warframe when it was still around. When it was still around, Terra also had a lot of skins overall in the game. The armor was pretty nice looking. Is
Yeah,
Terra not around anymore?
I
I didn't
can,
know that.
I can attest to Warframe. I played that for a time. It is absolutely there is like a whole fashion frame thing. Like basically, once you've done everything, your game becomes about fashion frame.
I've been looking at Warframe recently. I've never played it, but I've been eyeing it recently. I kind
For a
of want to.
free game, it's hard to believe it's free.
Yeah,
Like it is a lot of fun.
yeah. I might have to give it a whirl.
Be careful, you can get sucked into that one
All
badly.
right. I mean, that's all I had for question of the week.
All right, fellas, are you ready to get into some gaming news?
Yeah, let's get it into it.
Let's do it. All right, so I just wanted to touch base on the Switch 2 launch, which is in a week from the time that you're
Wow, already?
hearing this podcast. Yeah, somehow,
Damn.
with all the tariffs and trade wars and customs and all that stuff, it can't keep us down.
I'm curious, like, what's the availability gonna be like? Is
It's
it like
bad.
gonna? Is
It's not
it?
available anywhere right
It
now.
is rough,
course.
but the price is holding steady at $450 at
Wow.
launch in US. But apparently in Japan, it's launching for like $280. So
Jeez.
No, they don't have to ship it and
So
all that
so
stuff.
essentially, I'm not gonna be able to get my hands on one for quite a while. Is what
You
you're
don't
I
saying?
really
think
need
you
to get
can
one.
literally pre-order it right now. Like,
Could it?
like
But
if
will
you
I be able
wanted
to
to, you
get it
could.
though? Like within a week?
I
I
mean,
don't.
if a stand-up company like I don't mean stand-up, but like a pedestrian company, something like Target or GameStop is letting you pre-order it, yes, I would imagine you're going to get it around the
I'm
time
gonna
that they
take a
say.
look because I kind of want to
Yeah.
get one. 450 is not bad for like the specs that it's packing. It's a pretty good deal.
My only problem is like how long has this been in development and how many games did they push back that should have been Switch 2 releases that aren't? There's only 2 release titles that are like only for Switch 2.
Yes, they are DK Bonanza and Mario Kart.
Yeah,
Mario Kart World, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And I don't know about the DK Bonanza thing, and I'm a big DK64 fan, but like the weird, destructible, break the whole level environment thing, like I don't know how I feel about that as a concept.
I mean, it's a Nintendo IP game, and I think that they generally do really well. And it may seem weird, but I'm sure it's fun.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure I'm just hesitant for no reason. I never really
Yeah,
got into like the fully destructible, fully buildable environment. So like I never really got into like Fortnite or Minecraft. Like just that type of a game sandbox never really
Yeah.
held my attention for very long. I feel the same about Tears of the Kingdom, where I just felt like it was like, you can solve all the puzzles by building stuff instead of
Oh yeah, you can build some
it
pretty
being an
janky
actual
stuff.
puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool that you can like figure out your own way how to beat some of the like shrines and stuff. But yeah, you can cheese a lot of that
And
by
I don't like crafting systems to begin with, right? And I feel like
yeah.
not
I could
saying
see.
DK Bonanza's crafting, but it's kind of I don't know, something about it has that feel. I'll probably like it when I do play it. I don't know.
Yeah, they might have their own spin on it, you know what I mean? Like something like that's like new to that game in general.
yeah, I'm excited for the Switch too, but I'm just kind of more excited for some more games to come out for it.
Yeah. Well, if those
Um,
are the only two games, then I might hold off because I'm not huge on DK and like I'm not really big on racing games.
So I
But
heard that basically Metroid Prime 4, we might
that's
be
what I want.
slated to have it by like September.
October, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
September
that's
or
what I want.
October, right? And then Nintendo's showing up to another like worldwide game con that I guess they've been out of for a few years. and it's predicted that we'll have some of those other launch games that we've seen in previews, like Metroid Prime 4. So basically, the thesis is that they're showing up to this Gamescom with other big stuff, that they have a lot more announcements coming. So I think it's going to be a pretty swift release cycle. Because we've got Pokemon ZA that's been in the works too,
Yeah,
right?
I'm just saying that I'm not like rushing to the store on release day to try and get it, and I'm fine taking my time on this one, but I am
Yeah,
excited for it.
yeah. No, same. I don't like I said. I don't know if I'll buy it right off the bat, but yeah, I definitely do want one in my hands when Prime hits. Prime 4.
And then I wanted to talk a little bit about the games for it. Have you guys been paying attention to the methods in which you could buy a game?
No.
I know it's kind of weird, like with the whole, what was it, like you buy like a physical like key reader or
Yeah, so
something.
there's three different ways, right? One is the cartridge way, which we're all familiar with. It'll be a Switch 2 cartridge with the game on it.
Oh, so they
And
are
that's
doing that.
that's the most expensive. However, they're not doing it for all of the games. Part of that is because it's slow to load data from the cartridge into the system live. So there are going to be some games that are just too powerful and they won't run that way. It'll have to be installed on the system. That's why there's such an emphasis on download,
Yeah,
right?
like that's what I thought they were doing with like all the physical ones, where it was like you would get like kind of like a key reader essentially to download the game.
Yeah, so
But
that's a different way. So you
yeah,
can just go onto the eShop and buy it, or if you want some sort of physical media for these more powerful games that can only be installed and won't exist in cartridge form, they have the key cards that'll come in a
right.
case just like everything else. But the thing itself is needed to play the game. So you would download it. That's where the game is coming from, and the key card basically is like the product key that lets you play it. And the good news is
Oh.
that that makes the game transferable. Like you can sell the key card to someone else. Basically, you can't play your copy of it anymore because you sold the key card, but then they get to
Yeah,
play it. So in
it's
a
based.
way, it's tokenized,
Yeah,
right?
you're buying a license for the game pretty much, and you can sell the license to somebody
Yeah.
else.
So it's a happy medium. I don't think I will ever buy a game that way,
It
but
sounds weird, but like I mean, I guess I can understand why they're doing it if if it's because of load times, I guess.
it
But
only has 256 gigabytes for a hard drive, which is
really, that's pretty small.
paltry, right? Like
Yeah, but you got an SD card inside, right? You get like a 500,
yeah, so
64
well, but that's
gig
that's kind of
card.
does that feel cheap to you though? So
A
like
little bit,
Nintendo has
yeah.
these Nintendo branded fast SD cards. I forget what they're called, Turbo SD or something like that. There's not many people that make them. So they're essentially proprietary. You have to buy those. You can't just get your own SD like SanDisk whatever you want card. You have to buy this particular card. And it's like $199 or something for the biggest one. Like they're not cheap.
Wow,
And
jeez,
that's the only way you can expand the memory. Like if you look at the ROG Ally or like the Steam Deck, right? They launch with multiple models. So if you want that larger internal storage because you know you're going to play AAA games, you're going to buy the bigger hard drive for like $100 more or whatever, right? But you don't have that option with this. And there are different turbo SD cards. We could talk about that a little bit if you want to. But like the games for the Nintendo Switch 2, we know are going to be in the ballpark of 40 gigabytes.
yeah,
So that's like 5 games installed on your system. Probably not even because we need to account for the operating system, right?
right.
Right, but how much is the Switch 2?
$450.
How much is a ROG Ally?
I think. Well, so the ROG Ally X is around 7, I think, for the largest model.
And how much is this card?
Like
199 for the
So, I
largest one.
mean, it puts it on the price point if you want the bigger,
yeah,
like,
but you're getting more out of the ROG Ally because it's a literal computer. Like
yes, but you're also getting, like, first party Nintendo games, which you can't play on the ROG Ally. Like, it's just, that's part of doing business right now. How much is a PS5 is like, $500 or
Yeah.
499, whatever.
Well, hold on there, because Microsoft and PlayStation have basically come out in the last couple of years and been like, all right, no more exclusives. Like, we're just not doing that anymore,
I'm
right?
I'm
Well, yeah, because they don't have
I'm
the
so happy
development
for
team.
that. Like, well, that too, and it's just like a lot of like I'm a PC player mostly. Like, I don't really buy like all the consoles, and when a new Final Fantasy comes out and it's PlayStation only, that just gets under my skin because it's like I don't want to buy a PlayStation 5 just to play it. I just don't want to do it.
I mean, I always knew Nintendo was going to be the holdout with this, right? But this feels a little depraved to me, especially because the physical games are going to cost you, around $20 to $30 more than the digital release games.
Yeah,
Like to get the cartridge version, it's going to be like $90.
yeah, I'm
Is
not
there
doing
not
that.
an actual like bonus to doing that? Like you have to download the game onto your system anyway, right?
Not so some games are going to be fine running off the cartridge, but some games are not, and those will not have a cartridge release. But I
Yeah,
think for like DK Bonanza, Mario Kart World, I don't exactly know, but my understanding is like those games that we're used to seeing released on the Switch are going to be okay to just play
So
on
they're
the
really trying to like kill
off the cartridge.
GameStop.
Well, I would argue that the key cards are to keep GameStop alive, but
yeah,
because we don't necessarily that's a bell and whistle, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
That like that's just sticking it on your shelf to have a case, basically. But
yeah. I'm perfectly fine buying the reduced price just to get the digital version,
oh,
and
I
then
love my Switch
I
shelf.
yeah, I know like people like to collect and stuff, but like yeah, I don't know, man. Like games are gonna be like $80, like $90. Like
That's
it's like
some inflation, man. That's
it's like when is enough kind of thing.
you say that, but games have been $60 for a long
Yeah.
time.
Well, they
A,
were, but like
a
then it jumped
really
up to
long time.
70 recently. It wasn't that maybe like a couple years ago, not even. Now they're thinking about going like to
For
80 or
Switch?
90. No, just like in general.
Yeah.
Like the game started going to like 69.99 like just a few years ago. But now they're already talking about, upping it up from that.
Interestingly enough, there wasn't an MSRP system back in like the 90s, and some games just straight up would cost you $99.
It's
Like
crazy.
like I think it was Fantasy Star 4 or something like that was like an $80 game at launch just because. And that was back in the 90s. Like if you adjust that
Wow.
for inflation, that's probably like,
It's
you know,
crazy.
at least $180 game or something
I
like
Well,
remember
and
forty
that.
nine
inflation is
ninety nine
crazy.
Yeah.
then PlayStation era 49.99.
I didn't pay $50 for games back then for sure.
No, I didn't.
But
Obviously, I didn't.
I was shopping that GameStop used section like nobody's business. So yeah, I mean, the Switch 2 is interesting. I think it's ushering in a new era. I think one of the positive things I will say about that uh, SD card is that because it's a relatively new technology and not a lot of people make it, if Nintendo normalizes it, it'll probably be just better storage for all solutions.
Yeah, I could see that.
And it'll probably bring the price of that technology down
But
too.
it is Nintendo. Anything Nintendo made, they like have a kung fu grip on it.
Oh, well, they didn't make it, but they the ones that come out have like little Nintendo insignias on them because it's
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the Switch too.
I
So
have one for the Switch. It's got like a fire flower on it or a mushroom on it or something.
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it's like an investment, right? You don't have to buy one right away. Like if you could fit 5 games on it on original, like the Switch 2, just regular memory, then I mean that's gonna get you through the year at least. Think about it as like an installment increase to your hard drive space later.
Well, and worse comes to worse. I mean, it's not ideal. You could just always delete a game, like, and just re-download it if you ever needed to. Like, you can only play one game at a time anyway, so it's like, I know it's inconvenient, but you could do that too.
And I'm
Let's
sure
go
there's gonna
back
be
to
plenty of
PlayStation
games.
memory cards.
Yeah, fair enough.
So here's another piece of interesting news. You know how we were complaining how Castlevania hasn't gotten anything new in a while?
Yeah.
Well, buckle up because in Japan there is starting on June 7th to the 20th Castlevania Awakening Under the Moon is
What?
a musical play of Castlevania. It looks to be particularly around the Symphony of the Night era because it's centered around Alucard, Maria, and Richter, but Richter during his disappearance for 4 years.
I mean, it sounds cool, but like, where's the video game? Like they're doing everything but video games now. It's like,
Yeah, it's
What is a
unfortunate.
man?
I know, right? Nothing but a pile of secrets.
Die, monster. I'm sure it's better than that. But Alucard is played by a woman, which I find hilarious.
Oh no.
But he needs
Wait,
to be, though. He needs to be. He's beautiful, you know. And she actually looks the part. Look up the pictures. It's actually pretty astounding. So
that's not
I'm
my
out.
Alucard.
I'm out.
sorry, guys. Alucard is a very effeminate looking fella back in Symphony of the Night.
Doesn't mean he has to be a chick, though.
Chicks have played Peter Pan in plays forever, guys.
Yeah, that's a boy. This is a man.
Alucard's only like 3
All right,
in the in the
I'll
original
only
anime,
accept it
and he
if
doesn't age.
I'll only accept it if she has the deep voice from the PlayStation era.
She must be voiced over, right? Like, you know, when you're that far away from the stage, you probably can't
Yeah.
see she's not
It's
speaking.
it's a little
Sure.
give and take. All right, it's like, all right. If you want to
Yeah.
be female, you just gotta have this type of voice, and I'll be okay with it.
But I think that's really neat. I just had to bring that piece of news. I knew you guys would kind of appreciate.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, they're doing stuff with Castlevania, which I appreciate, but it's just like, I fell in love with Castlevania because of the games. Like, that's what I want.
Same.
At
Give
least
me the
it's
games.
celebrated. Yeah. Give me some more of that. My last bit of news is that 8-Bit Do Arcade is actually making a controller fight stick, which is kind of interesting because they hadn't done that already.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Surprising.
If you've ever perused the 8-Bit Do website, they're all about that life.
Right.
Like they
Well,
make replica retro controllers. You just would think there'd be a fight stick by now.
well, they're super customizable too, aren't they? So like maybe you could like switch out different layouts on your fight stick, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I use the term fight stick loosely because this is more like fight ball. Like it doesn't have a stick that sticks way up. It's just got like a little nub that you kind of play with. So I don't know how well it's going to blow over. Like if you're the persnickety type to buy a fight stick, I don't know that this is going to fly. I don't know what they're thinking with this, but
I would have to see a picture of it.
I know that your hand can't like go around the shaft, if you will, of the stick and move it. It's just like a ball that moves.
Interesting. They must have like fight sticks that are similar to that. If I mean, I'm not a big like fighting guy, but like I would imagine that they have like certain like controllers like that for fight sticks.
In my browsing around, I'll put the link in the show notes. But I did see a new controller that's launching too. That you know how I told you that story about that half a keyboard that got delivered to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, think about that, except it's folded over into a cube kind of a thing, right? So you'd curl your hand around this, and you'd have a button for your thumb, a button for each of your fingers, and then a button below that that you could like jab and press down on. So something like 8 buttons total, right? Or maybe it's 12 or something like that. But it's essentially like a really ergonomic grip
Really?
and it has a movement back and forth and left and right and stuff. So you can essentially WASD and hotkey all with the same hand. Basically, is what they were going for.
Huh. I might have to
If
look
you're
into that.
PC gamer, right? And it's like a peripheral you attach in, and it has a
Yeah,
mechanical component,
I'm
kind of like a
surprised.
mechanical
Like
keyboard.
honestly, like I'm surprised like that hasn't taken over like sooner, like to replace keyboards. Like I'm not trying to knock the keyboard in any way, but it's just like realistically, it's not very ergonomic, and I'm just surprised that like it has not been like swapped out for like something better in today's age.
We're
Like
just not
maybe
smart enough to play PC games, Dan. That's really what it is.
maybe so, but it's just like that half keyboard thing. It was probably like a gaming type of controller. I would have to
Definitely.
imagine.
Definitely had like RGB lights and everything.
But like, yeah, like I would definitely try something that's like more ergonomic, especially when I'm getting older. Like I don't want like, carpal tunnel and stuff like that. Not that I play a crap ton of PC games, but like, you never know what happens when you get older, man.
Fair enough.
Uh,
If
no,
not,
I
it's
don't.
okay.
I don't think so.
So I actually want to get into what we're playing. You guys ready to do some of that?
Sure.
All right. All right. So I thought, in addition to the news, we would give an update on what's going on with us. So, who wants to go first?
I
I
can
really
go.
do, but I'm trying not to hog the mic.
Yeah, I can go first.
Go ahead.
Um, so I recently like started talking to my brothers again. Like I haven't really been keeping in touch with them, but I got in touch with them recently, and it started with like we were just talking about life, and then for some reason we got off track, and then we started talking about like gaming, and I was talking to my one brother. We were playing Marvel Rivals, and so we got all the brothers together, and we started playing that and having tons of fun. But then that kind of petered out, and then we swapped games to Sea of Thieves. Like I've never really played Sea of Thieves, but it's kind of fun.
Oh, that's the pirate MMO, right?
Yeah, so it's like there's like no stats or anything. Like you don't get like more HP or more armor. It's all like, oh, I should have said that for the question of the week. Sea of Thieves. I didn't think of it till now. But anyways, like all the gear is just like, it's just fashion sense. But like it's kind of cool. Like you get to go on adventures on your ship. You go to different islands, steal treasures and stuff like that, plunder treasures, and then like you can also like get attacked by other players that are on the in the open seas.
I've
So
heard
it's like,
your introduction to that game is getting like shellacked by the people who have all teamed up and formed their own pirate unions.
yeah, then that's happened. Like there was times where like we got like a crap ton of treasure off this one island, and you have to bring it back to an outpost to sell it to actually get the gold. So like when you're venturing back to an outpost, like you're sailing on the open seas, you can get attacked by different players, aka the pirates, and they can steal your treasure or sink your ship, and then all that work that you did on that island was for nothing.
I could see this getting toxic really quickly.
Oh yeah, like I don't think I'll.
As pirates are.
Yeah, and that's why it's called Sea of Thieves, because like you could steal other people's treasures and stuff. But like it's wild. Like you'll get like people like on like it's called like a sloop. It's like a small boat. They'll just come sailing right up to your boat, and then like jump off their boat and start climbing up your ship through the ladder, and then just start like setting your ship on fire, and then they go back and jump out back into the water. Yeah, people do crazy stuff like that, or they'll drop your anchor. Yeah, yeah. It's fun. I don't think I'll ever get super serious with that game. It's just the game to play with my brothers, but I've been having
That is
fun.
really cool.
I've been having fun with it.
It's kind of like a pirate sandbox almost.
Yeah.
That is cool. You can operate components of the other people's ship.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. You can do that. You could, like I said, you can set their ship on fire. You can mess with their sails. Like, yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
But
once you get wise to it, you start defending against stuff like that. Like you see that little boat coming up and you try to blow it out of the water with
oh yeah,
cannons.
you gotta
A little
man the
dinghy.
cannons. You gotta man the cannons and stuff and try and shoot it.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, they have boat damage where like if you shoot near the bottom of the boat, it'll start sinking. So you got to go down in the bottom of your ship and start bailing out water and then repairing the hole and
Oh
stuff.
my god, that's so awesome!
It's fun. It's
making me kind of
addicting.
want to try this game. Yeah,
It's addicting for sure. But yeah, like I'm not like super invested in this game. Like I said, it's just I'm just having fun. So that's what I've been doing.
Seems fun.
I've been
Yeah.
doing a little bit of gaming, so I'm focusing on a couple different things. One is I am really trying to dedicate my focus only to the game of the week that we're playing and also my backlog, or what I've been calling my amnesty list. So I'm trying to go back and beat the games that I've said this entire experience that I said I'm going to go back and beat. So I am working my
Finally
way
gonna
through
get the
Final Fantasy Tactics.
BK.
Yep. I started with Final Fantasy Tactics because it's most recent, but you're right, Steve. I do have to get through Banjo Kazooie, which
Yeah,
is
so do I.
probably gonna be next. And you know what? Final Fantasy Tactics is funny because if I had known about that fight that I recently got through, that if you're part of the Discord, you know that I struggled with the. There's a fight later on that your character has to fight solo against a really tough enemy, and basically the two ways you beat it are one, knowing it's coming, or B, cheesing it. Because there's a
Yep.
weird save feature beforehand, and you can essentially soft lock yourself like I did and have to pick your way out um,
Yep.
through
I
trial
had
and
to.
error.
I know. Yeah, I had to cheese my way through that fight too. I couldn't. I was getting like one or two shotted. It was just absolutely ridiculous.
I'm trying to decide whether to hold it against the game or not. I am still playing, so I guess maybe it doesn't hurt me that much. But
I was on the delivering end of the one shot, so
Mm.
yeah, I know you had like the mage build, so you knew it was coming, so you probably just nuked him from orbit. But
Yeah, I was just doing the Squire build. Like that's just like his basic build, and like I must have been like super under leveled or something. But he was just like clapping me. Like it was
yeah,
so
so
bad.
I'm a like a dragoon, um, and I'll use him for support stuff. So my other sub job is like thief because you can get a lot of really good equipment from stealing. And he naturally raises his speed with some of his squire abilities. So when I'm running around on the map, I'm using him as like a thief type character, and when I'm fighting a big fight, I use the dragoon. So he's like a support slash tank build. Oh, and I use his heal ability from Squire a lot because it's actually a really good single target heal. And he wears heavy armor with the dragoon, so it's he never goes down. But yeah, I was level 29 for that fight, and I looked up a guide, and the first thing I noticed about the guide was he was level 45. I was
Yeah, I
like,
think I was
oh
something
no.
similar too. I'm pretty sure. So like, what does that mean for the game though? Does the game expect you to just sit there and grind random encounters? Like, because like I said, I was a similar
no,
level.
that was a person playing. That was a person's guide, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was just that, he could take 3 hits from the boss, whereas I could only take two, and the boss moved first on me, but he had more speed than the boss, so he moved first. So really, it was like the boss would move first, hit me, and then I had to like make sure I didn't get hit again, or else I would game over.
Right.
So, and I had to really get in the weeds to cheese it, basically. Like I died a bunch, and then I figured out a way that I could manipulate his movement a little bit, and he would still use an attack, but it would be a much weaker attack. But so yeah, I have that my amnesty list. But the other thing I'm working on is I see these awesome souped up Game Boys across the internet that people build. They put all these mods in it, and it's something I've always been interested in. So in the last couple weeks, I figured why not me? So the audio listeners can't see this, but I've got my Super Game
That
Boy
looks sick.
SP here, my Game Boy Advance, and it's got a new shell on it. A great, almost like metallic looking Gengar shell, because Gengar is my favorite Pokemon. And the screen on it is like insanely bright. I put an IPS V5 screen on it,
Oh
and
wow,
I'm
yeah.
turning it on for the guys, but you can see like it's, compared to the old screen, it is super bright and it's very, very crisp. Like it's kind of insane how much the original screen hampers the output of this thing, but tinkering on it has been so much fun. Like
Right.
I like had to take off the L and R buttons, like learn how to solder those back on because they were like crappy L and R switches. Like I bought this beater Game Boy as part of a package deal, like back in the day. It was like $80, and it came with like a Pokemon Yellow, which is $50. So I basically got it for nothing, right? And it had like crappy L and R keys and stuff. So I had
Right.
to like fix a whole bunch of things on it and put this shell on and put these new buttons on and that screen and everything. And it was just I've had a ton of fun doing it.
Yeah.
It's
So
been great.
did you replace the battery too? You said, or no? Is it the base battery?
No, no, it's not the base battery. The base battery was all like thick and blown up.
Yeah, because
So I got a new high capacity
yeah, I was
battery.
thinking of that too. Because since, like you said, you like your screen's a lot brighter and stuff too. Like, I was just thinking if you didn't replace the original battery, what that kind of would have did to your battery life. But
Yeah,
like if you swap the battery out, then yeah, you're probably more than fine. It's probably even better than the base one with the base
act,
screen.
yeah, it's double capacity actually
Yeah,
to the base battery. So the one thing I didn't do was do like a high speed USB-C charging mod, and I'm kind of regretting it a little bit because it takes forever to charge this battery with like the fat Game Boy SP proprietary cable.
Yeah,
It just
Oh,
that
doesn't
okay.
put out as much voltage, but like yeah,
Yeah.
you can get a USB-C mod, which apparently isn't too hard to install. So, but yeah, this is fun. I this could be an addicting hobby. So,
That's good.
is it an addictive hobby?
Hey, he seems like he's having fun.
That's the good part. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, Steve, what have you been up to?
I haven't been gaming a lot, like video game wise. I've been playing a lot of Magic: The Gathering. I ended up qualifying for it's called a regional championship, but it's actually like a national level tournament, not a regional level. They chose regional because it's kind of like to contrast it with the European regionals, which are also nationals, but America is a lot larger than that. So last weekend I went to this tournament. It was 940 players, and
Wow.
yeah, I ended up
That's a
flying.
lot. I feel like
Yeah.
for paper Magic, I would not have expected that turnout.
Well, especially because it's standard, and for anybody that doesn't know, standard is more of the recent sets that get released, as opposed to modern or legacy, which are older, um, a much larger like format. Like it has a lot more sets in it from back in the day. So standard is like the new stuff, and so standard has fallen out of favor in paper Magic because we have Magic the Gathering Arena, which is on the computer, and it's a lot more accessible, and people can play whenever, like on the phone or on the computer. So I was kind of surprised that there were still that many people playing paper standard. Um, but yeah, I traveled from Tennessee to Connecticut. I took a plane and I stayed at a hotel for 3 nights. And I went to the big convention center and I met a lot of people, and I networked a little bit and played a lot of Magic, and it was a lot of fun.
So I gotta
Told them you had a
ask.
retro gaming podcast.
I did tell some people, yeah.
I gotta
Yeah.
ask. How'd you do?
So in these big tournaments, they are 2-day tournaments, and you only get to play on the second day if you do well enough. You need to have, I think the minimum was 6 wins and 3 losses to make to day two. And I ended up making it to day two in my first RC, which is a really big accomplishment. I beat a professional player for my winning in on day two. Her name is Nicole Tipple. She was playing the two beat deck, the number one deck that had a 41% conversion rate into day two.
Wow.
So
Impressive.
that was a big win for me. Playing against somebody who plays on the Pro Tour regularly and hasn't made top 8 in a Pro Tour, but has made top 32 in multiple Pro Tours. So that was kind of like the highlight of my trip. My winning in was against a pro.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and we have quite the history with Magic, with Magic the Gathering. At least Steve and I do. I don't play anymore. I'm like a recovering
Yeah, I only dabbled
Magic
with it
player.
in high school with you guys. I didn't really like pick it up after that.
Yeah, I played it for a while, especially when it came to Arena, because I really got into the digital card game scene because it was something I always loved. I just didn't like buying booster packs, and I didn't like having a whole room full of useless cards and pack filler and stuff. And the economics of it, I think, are worse playing paper Magic, at least for what my purposes are. So, but I did get into it, but yeah, I just kind of fell out of it over time. Still got that Pokemon TCG Pocket on my phone though, so I still play a card game here and there.
I will
But yeah,
not get into that.
yeah,
One card game is enough for me.
I mean, it's not really a card game, but like probably the big next big thing I'm gonna get into with you guys is Slay the Spire too.
I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time like getting the motivation to play Slay the Spire 1 just because like I've beat the game to death and I'm just waiting for the second one to come out.
Do we have
I
a
actually
release
have a
date on
run
that?
that's been going for weeks. I
Oh,
have
endless.
an endless run, yeah, with that where I'm getting blights, and I have a positively cracked um, ironclad block deck. It's
Nah.
just like I can't believe it's still going, but yeah, it's kind of bonkers.
What was your question, Dan?
Oh, I was just wondering if we know the release date on Slay the Spire
No.
2. No.
2025 still.
Yeah, we're
But
halfway
we are
through the
keeping our
year,
eyes
man.
out. Yeah, we're certainly keeping our
It got
eyes out.
announced like last summer.
Who knows? Hopefully, it's quality. I'm willing to wait if it's good.
Yeah, for sure.
So I am still playing. Where I'm excited to keep playing through Rocket Knight Adventures and talk about that next time. So before we sign off, I do want to say that if you like what you hear here, just getting together every couple of weeks, talking about general gaming stuff, news, and then the Retro Game League, definitely subscribe and get us loaded up to your weekly podcast queue every Tuesday. Or you could join us in Discord. We got a little community going on there. We like to get together and play games together on our gaming couches, and just kind of hang out and have good vibes. Good games, genuine friends. That's our motto. So, but for now, see you next week. Game over, fellas.
Game over.
Game over.